Hey everybody, it's Buzz the Noob. Welcome on back to my channel. I'm glad you are here today. And I'm glad you're here for the last of our series of videos on the Protection Warrior. Now if you notice on the screen, we're going to be doing this a little bit different because the Protection Warrior talents have been so either reworked, redone, removed, or shuffled around on the board that it doesn't even matter what they are right now because they are just a whole, it's a whole new ball game, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to be doing, none of the rows are going to line up. It's not going to matter, and, you know, hey, it's what it is. It's a new expansion, and we've been so prevalent in Mythic Pluses. We've been able to do so much damage as a prot warrior that, again, I'm not surprised. We're taking some nerfs, taking some hits. We've got some buffs, some nerfs. Overall, I think we're pretty much getting a nerf where everything's going to balance out to be. But again, we've been so prevalent. It's kind of like how I said in the Brewmaster video, when you're so prevalent for so long, you know you're going to take the hit. I mean, that's just what it is. See if I can get rid of that ad. And hey, we do what we do, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to talk about our new talent. So this is our new talent rows. So our number one talent that we all took into the fray got moved from our very first talent choice all the way down to our 6th row. It's a little unfortunate. However, in its place, we have War Machine. So our auto attacks generate 50% more rage. Killing an enemy instantly generates 10 rage and increases your movement speed by 30% for 8 seconds. So I do have some questions on this one. First off, I think it's great. Our auto attacks generate 50% more rage because especially at low levels, I always feel starving as a prot warrior for rage. And I'd rather have too much rage and be trying to blow it on offense and still have my defensive abilities running all the time than be starving for it. So anything that generates more rage with me is a good idea. Killing an enemy instantly generates 10 rage. So my question is there, do we actually have to do the killing blow? Or is that just, hey, look, the enemy's in our group and it dies? Did we hit the enemy and it dies and we get 10 rage? Probably the first of that. It's just, otherwise that's just going to be way super on balance. But either way, I think that's going to be good talent. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Punish is the same thing it was. Shield Slam deals 20% increased damage and reduces enemies' damage against you by 3% for 9 seconds. Multiple punishments may still overlap. Okay, and then Impeding Victory actually got a buff. So this, we're going to attack the target, causing damage and healing us for 30% of our maximum health. It was 20%. So that is a buff. That's actually a fairly substantial buff to that. So if we take Impending Victory, I don't think we're going to take Punish yet. I don't think the increased damage is still worth it. It may be without having the haste to fight for in that row, but I'm more curious about War Machine. And when I'm leveling, at least now when I'm leveling, I won't feel bad about taking Impending Victory. I felt bad because Into the Fray was so powerful, and then I would take Impending Victory if I was leveling because I want the self-heals. So this row is kind of going to be up for this. I want to play with it. I want to see where the numbers come in. I don't see a clear answer without looking at numbers on this one, which is kind of fun. We've had some specs we've talked about that it's just like, dude, if you're not picking this, you're wrong. I don't see that here yet. I don't think it'll be Punished, but I do think War Machine or Impending Victory will be the way to go. Our next talent row, 25, is Double Time. Increase maximum number of charges on charge by 1 and reduces cooldown by 3 seconds. Okay. Rumbling Earth. When Shockwave strikes at least 3 targets, its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. That's not a change. It's just in a different spot. And Stormbolt hurls your weapon at an enemy, causing some damage, some physical damage, and stunning for 4 seconds. So I hate the fact that I've got to compete with Rumbling Earth and Double Time. I like having 2 charges. And I've liked Rumbling Earth. It's what I've been playing. So this, again, this is going to be a very situational talent row. Do I need to bring a stun? Otherwise, I don't bring a stun as a prot warrior. So I could always go Stormbolt. Rumbling Earth, reducing the cooldown when I hit more than 3 targets. Well, I should be hitting more than 3 targets. You know, when Shockwave hits that. At least when you open with it, maybe and halfway through a fight, you should be hitting more than 3 targets. And double time. So I think how I'm kind of seeing it is bosses, Mythic Plus, and situational. So default Ray bosses, default Mythic Plus, and this one will be fitted in occasionally. So I'm going to go with double time. Actually, I'm going to go with Rumbling Earth is what I'm going to put down. I'm going to go ahead and put Impending Victory for now, because I just don't know where to go on that one. And then we've got the level 30, Best Served Cold. Got another, it got a buff as well. Revenge deals 20% more damage or 50% more damage when you successfully dodge or parry. Have made it cost no rage, okay? So that is a buff to Best Served Cold, which is good. It needed it. It wasn't a great talent, but whatever. But it also put it in the same row as Devastator. Your auto attacks deal an additional physical damage and have a 20% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Shield Slam. Dragon Roar, bleh, we cannot talk. Roar explosively dealing physical damage to all enemies within 12 yards. So this is still all enemies. Keep that in mind. All enemies within 12 yards and reducing their movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. It also generates 10 rage. Okay, I think Devastator is going to be the way to go, because it still allows that chance for our Shield Slam, which is our best rage generator, to be reset. Devastator, though, with the upgrade, Best Served Cold, that is, with the upgrade, is going to be a good choice. And Dragon's Roar may come in as a surprise because of the fact that it still hits all enemies. Now, it's still a conal attack, right? So you still have to be facing them, so you can't like have them around you like and drop a Consecration or Death and Decay. But as you're pulling them into you, you could use Dragon Roar, and that would work. But I don't see it being good enough still, especially not to compete with Devastator. So I think Devastator is still going to be our go-to option on this. Crackling Thunder increases radius of Thunderclap by 50%. Not a change, not anything from live. Bounding Stride, no change or anything from live. It still reduces the cooldown on Heroic Leap by 15 seconds, and Heroic Leap now also increases your run speed by 70% for 3 seconds. And Menace, no change from live. Intimidating Shout will knock back all nearby enemies. No, I'm sorry. There is a change from live. Intimidating Shout will knock back all nearby enemies except your primary target and cause them all to cower in fear for 15 seconds instead of fleeing. So the change to Menace is that instead of fleeing, they cower. Okay, so that's a small change, it seems like, but it's actually pretty big, because now I can actually use that. I can use Intimidating Shout, scare everybody, and I don't have to regather them. That's why I didn't like Intimidating Shout before, because I still have to catch these guys back up and put them in a death ball. But if I can keep my primary target, Shrine of the Storms would be a good place to do this at right now, right? Because you've got some of these, like the big elemental guy in there, and you can knock all the other little crappy guys away, so nobody's focusing on them, which is annoying, and they're all feared. Or the healers down the stairs right before the first boss. You could do it on the first one of the healer, get them all close to you, use that. The other ones all fly back and are feared, so they're no longer healing. And that would be a good use for that. That's just a couple examples of that. So Menace actually is going to be pretty useful, I think, in certain situations. Bounding Stride, Crackling Thunder are going to be useful more often. This is going to be very niche again. I gave a couple examples of where it would be very good. But I think these two will be just generally more useful. Crackling Thunder can get you in trouble. Motherlode's a good example of where that can happen a lot. You thunderclap and you forgot that you increased the radius by 50%, and now you pulled 3 packs instead of 2, or 2 instead of 1, or whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah, you're in trouble. But I'm probably going to go Bounding Strike because I just like the movement of it. Bolster. It's been moved. Last Stand and reworked. No, it hasn't. Sorry. Trying to remember which ones have been reworked and which ones haven't. That's why I normally have this other one up. But hey, Bolster, last stand's cooldown is reduced by 1 minute and it grants you the shield block effect for its duration. That's good. No change from where it's at on live. Indomitable, your maximum, this is the one that was reworked. Your maximum health is increased by 10%, and every 10 rage you spend heals you for 1% of your maximum health. That's bloody huge. Okay? That is friggin' awesome. Indomitable is going to be great. Yes. Yes, please. Never surrender. Ignore pain prevents 40% to 100% more damage based on your missing health. So this one's, I think, is more clarified on the in the tooltip than anything else. I don't think it's actually been changed or anything. I think it's just been more clarified how it works. As far as this road's concerned, though, what I'm going to be able to do, though, I'm going to be able to take this to War Machine, get more rage, which means I can kill stuff faster, and increase my movement speed, which means I can kill stuff faster. And then I'm going to take Indomitable because I'm healing all the time. Every time I'm using my rage on revenge or shield blocks or anything like that, I'm friggin' ignore pain. I'm healing myself. This is great. You know, I wish it was more, but I really think that's good. I think that's going to be a nice passive self-healing that we've needed badly as Protection Warriors. Into the Fray, this did get nerfed, guys, and it got nerfed pretty heavy. It got nerfed by a whole 1%. You gain 2% haste for each enemy or ally within 10 yards, up to 10% haste. It was 3% up to 15% haste. So that's actually a fight. That's a big... Take the Nerf bat and just beat it into the friggin' ground, okay? It sucks. It's still really powerful. I mean, 10% haste is still a lot, but it's just not what it was. And the fact that it was up here and now it's down here, you'd think it would be more powerful on a lower row, right? They could have left it alone, but they didn't. Booming Voice, Demoralizing Shout also generates 40 rage and increases damage you deal to affected targets by 20%. That actually got a little buff. It was 10%, so 20%. That's actually a pretty big buff. Unstoppable Force, Avatar increases the damage of Thunderclap by 30% and reduces its cooldowns by 50%. And I don't think that was changed. So this row is going to be interesting. This is all going to become math dependent. Is that 10% haste going to matter more than getting that 40 rage and increasing damage you deal to affected targets by 20%? Or have an Avatar up more, or Thunderclap up more? I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, and that's just what it is. So as far as this row is concerned, I am going, right now it's kind of a guess, but I'm thinking Booming Voice is actually going to be Into the Fray. I think that 40%, that 40 rage generation and the 20% increased damage, I think that's just going to do it. I think that's going to be able to beat Into the Fray, and that is going to slow us down. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't know. I really want some math wizards to figure out the math on that, because yippers. So Heavy Repercussions. Shield Slam generates 3 more rage and extends the duration of shield block by 1 second. That was, you know, how I was reading it was just totally reworked, but that's where we're at now. Anger Management got a nerf pretty much. Now every 10 rage we spend reduces the remaining cooldown on Avatar and Shield Wall, and it was a couple other items as well. So that sucks. That is only reducing 2 of our cooldowns. And Ravager got a nerf by the fact that it just brought it into line with all the other AoE abilities. So it's only going to hit up to 8 enemies as opposed to all the enemies. Not that we've ever used Ravager anyways. I don't know why it's still there. It could have used a buff. It could have used something. It took as a nerf, so we're not going to use it now. Especially when you're comparing it to Heavy Repercussions or Anger Management. I think we're going to go with Heavy Repercussions because it increases shield block. I don't think the rage is that big of a deal, but I do, keeping our shield block up by another second is good, which means we're not going to have to use shield block as often. So, yeah, depending on how fast we can get the shield slams in. If because we're not going with Into the Fray, we may go anger management because of the spinning of the rage will actually work out faster and better for us. But again, that's a lot of math for people to figure out for the theory crafters and all that stuff. This is kind of how I'm seeing it without being a math guy to be able to tell where it's all at. And how, I mean, this is a total rework. Everything's just, literally almost everything's on a different row. And Punish and Pending Victory, they're in the same places. There's a couple that are in the same spot, but it really got, like, they threw everything up in the cards and it ended up in the same spot, right? I see us doing, our AoE damage is not going to be as strong. We're not going to be as fast. So we did take a nerf. That's going to affect us in Mythic Plus, but we are going to bring in some more self-healing, which maybe that'll be enough to balance that out. But I don't see us being the number one, at least not in Season 1 for Shadowlands, being the number one AoE tank. Actually, I kind of see that going to either Prop Paladin. Actually, I see it go to Prop Paladin, being the number one AoE tank between Consecration not having a target cap and the Avenger Shield abilities that are going to be off the chain. So I really see Prop Paladin kind of overtaking us, which we've been close anyways, so that's fine. Let them have their time in the sun, right? Anyways, guys, that's all I got. I hope everybody's have a good day, and everybody's staying safe, and I will see Lottie Dottie everybody back next time. Bye.